Welcome back to the deep dive. You gave us a really fascinating stack of sources this time, all focused on one question.
Big one, too.
Yeah, can a supplement you can just, buy over the counter actually help prevent one of the most common cancers in the world?
Mm-hmm.
So today we are diving deep into nicotinamide. That's a form of vitamin B3.
Right.
And we're looking at its efficacy in skin cancer chemoprevention. I mean, a lot of people take it, but you shared data that looks for real, large-scale clinical evidence.
That's it. We need to know if it works, and maybe more importantly, how it works best.
And that's our mission for this deep dive, right? To get past the anecdotes and see what a massive study really tells us.
Exactly. This study didn't just ask, does it work? It drilled down into timing, into patient history. We need to walk away knowing when nicotinamide is, just a minor player, and when it can give you these just jaw-dropping results.
Okay, let's unpack this. Whenever we look at a study this big, the methodology is everything.
Is the foundation, yeah.
If that foundation is weak, the numbers just don't matter. So what kind of source material are we dealing with here? What makes these results so solid?
We're dealing with what's known as a retrospective cohort study.
So looking backward at patient records.
Exactly. And the scope is what makes this really stand out. This data comes from the Veterans Affairs Corporate Data Warehouse, the CDW.
Ah, the VA system.
Right. And when you tap into that, you're accessing this incredible volume of standardized, high-quality, long-term health data.
Okay, so tell us about the scale. How many patients are we talking about and over what kind of period? Because in prevention research, time is everything.
The time frame is just vast. They tracked electronic health records from October 1st, 1999.
Wow.
All the way to December 31st, 2024. And the volume it's just so robust. The analysis included a total of 33,822 patients.
33,000.
Yeah, and just think about what that means. Decades of real-world patient outcomes, there are other health issues, everything. This is not a small, controlled lab study.
This is messy real-world data.
Pulled from the lived experiences of tens of thousands of people.
That context is so important. So let's define the exposure here. If I'm listening and considering this, I need to know the exact dose they studied.
The researchers were looking for a very specific protocol. It was oral nicotinamide taken at 500 milligrams twice a day.
Okay, 500 twice a day.
And it had to be documented as taken for longer than 30 days. So we're really looking at a consistent high-dose regimen.
Right. Now, in a retrospective study, you're always fighting against those lurking variables, right?
Always.
The people who take a supplement might just be healthier to begin with, or maybe they already have more skin cancer, which is why they started taking it. How did the researchers make sure they were comparing apples to apples?
That is the critical challenge, and they addressed it with some serious statistical firepower. It's called propensity score matching.
Propensity score matching. Okay, that sounds dense, but I have a feeling it's the secret sauce of this study.
It really is.
So for the listener, why couldn't they just take 17,000 people who took the pill and 17,000 who didn't and compare them?
Because if you do that, the groups are probably not the same. The group taking the supplement might be, say, 10 years older on average.
Or they're already high-risk patients.
Yeah, they've already had 5 skin cancers. Propensity score matching, or PSM, is a tool that basically creates a perfect theoretical twin for every person taking nicotinamide.
A twin, okay.
They match the patients based on every relevant risk factor they can find in the data.
Like what?
Things like age, sex, race, the number of prior skin cancers, exposure to other therapies like acitretin, and even if they'd had a solid organ transplant.
I see.
By matching all those factors, they essentially isolate the one variable they care about.
The nicotinamide.
The nicotinamide supplementation.
So when the results come out, we can be much more confident that the difference we see is actually from the supplement, not some other underlying health difference.
Exactly. It just dramatically increases the robustness of the finding.
Got it.
But there is one piece of context to keep in mind here. The demographics of the matched cohort.
Okay.
The average age was pretty high, around 77 years old.
77.
And the population was overwhelmingly white, about 95%. So the results are incredibly relevant to that specific high-risk aging demographic.
Understood. Okay, so now that we trust the setup, let's get to the results. Does this dose, 500 milligrams twice a day, actually reduce risk overall?
It absolutely does. The overall finding is positive. The study suggests a significant 14% reduction in skin cancer risk.
14%. Okay, on a population level, that is a substantial public health finding.
It is.
But I get the feeling this is where the conversation gets really interesting. The benefit wasn't uniform, was it?
Not at all. And this is the most compelling insight. When the researchers looked closer, they found that when nicotinamide was initiated after a patient's very first skin cancer diagnosis,
The first one.
the very first one, the risk reduction didn't just inch up, it skyrocketed to 54%.
54%. That is an unbelievable leap from the 14% average. Let's just sit with that number for a second.
I know.
A 54% reduction in recurrence suggests this isn't just some background helper. It's a critical intervention, but only if you deploy it at exactly the right time.
It creates a critical window, right? The data strongly suggests that the moment you get that initial skin cancer diagnosis, you enter a phase where this kind of chemoprevention is just maximally effective.
But wait, a 54% reduction, but only after the first cancer? That almost sounds counterintuitive. Why wouldn't someone who's had, 4 or 5 cancers see that same benefit?
That's the key nuance. The study noted that this dramatic benefit, it declined with initiation following later skin cancers.
So if you're already on your 5th or 6th basal cell, you might still get some benefit, but it's not going to be that transformative effect.
Not at all. It really implies something about the mechanism.
Right. It suggests nicotinamide might be working best by protecting cells from early damage, maybe boosting immune surveillance when the sort of genetic burden is still light.
Precisely. Once you've accumulated all that field damage and multiple cancerous events, the game just changes. It's an early intervention tool, not a late-stage repair kit.
That makes sense. Now, let's be specific about the types of cancer. We're talking about non-melanoma skin cancers here.
Correct. They tracked both basal cell carcinoma, or BCC, and cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma, CSCC.
And the scale was huge here too, right?
Oh yeah, over 10,000 cases of BCC and more than 12,000 of CSCC in the matched group. And the risk reduction was seen for both.
Okay, but was there a preferential benefit? Did it work better for one over the other?
Yes. The sources were very clear that while BCC saw a reduction, the greatest risk reduction was seen specifically for CSCC.
For the squamous cell?
For cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma, yes.
There's a crucial distinction because for the listener, CSCC is generally considered the more aggressive of the two, right? It has a higher risk of spreading than BCC.
It does.
So if the intervention is working best against the more dangerous type, that adds another layer of importance to this.
It certainly does. And, we've established this massive benefit in the general older population, but the researchers were also meticulous about analyzing a smaller, very high-risk group.
You're talking about the solid organ transplant recipients.
Correct. And this is a vital subgroup. These patients are deliberately immunosuppressed.
To prevent organ rejection.
Right. And that immunosuppression just fundamentally changes their skin biology. It makes them hugely susceptible to skin cancers, especially CSCC. They made up about 3.9% of the cohort.
So, given their extreme vulnerability, what was the headline result for this high-risk population? Did it still work?
Well, this is where the results get really nuanced and show the limits of the supplement.
Okay.
Among the solid organ transplant recipients, the data showed no overall significant risk reduction.
So no benefit. That sounds like a disappointment. Why would the immunosuppression just override the benefit?
It speaks directly to the mechanism. Nicotinamide boosts energy production in skin cells, enhances DNA repair, but the immunosuppressive drugs, they specifically dampen the immune system's surveillance. So the main driver of their cancer risk, that lack of immune oversight, it might just be too powerful for the nicotinamide to overcome.
So the supplement isn't addressing the root cause of their elevated risk. But even in this really difficult group, was there any silver lining? Did that CSCC distinction hold up?
It did. And this is the part that needs to be communicated carefully. Even though the overall benefit disappeared, they found that early nicotinamide use was still associated with a reduced incidence of CSCC, even in that SOT population.
That is fascinating. It just reinforces the two central themes of this deep dive. First, the absolute necessity of early intervention.
Yes.
And second, that disproportionate protective effect against squamous cell carcinoma. Even when the immune system is suppressed, starting early seems to offer some protection against that more aggressive cancer.
It really connects all the dots. The efficacy is so dependent on timing and the type of cancer.
Okay, let's synthesize this for the listener. This is complex stuff. What are the key takeaways you need to actually consider or implement?
Okay, first key takeaway is that the evidence is compelling. This isn't just some vague idea. It's an association drawn from over 33,000 patients on a high-dose regimen.
500 milligrams twice daily.
Right. And second is the critical concept of timing.
Right. The 54% reduction.
Exactly. The most dramatic effect is when it's initiated after the first skin cancer event. That's the insight you should take away. Timing is more crucial than consistency alone.
And third?
Be specific about what you're protecting against. The biggest impact is against that more aggressive non-melanoma, the CSCC.
And finally, remember the context. High efficacy in the general older population, but, mitigated results if you're on powerful immunosuppressants.
Though even then, the CSCC protection seems to persist with early use.
That provides a crystal clear guide.
Yeah.
It really shows that sometimes the difference between a minor benefit and a massive one is just knowing when to start the clock.
And that leads us to the final, I think, provocative question that this study raises.
Okay.
If the benefit declines so dramatically after that first recurrence, it suggests nicotinamide isn't curing existing damage.
It's preventing new damage.
Or enhancing cellular repair at a really crucial juncture.
It makes you wonder, is that 54% protection because the supplement is dramatically improving the skin cell's ability to repair UV damage before it gets worse?
Or is it boosting the body's natural mechanisms to just eliminate those first few abnormal cells that pop up?
What is it about that first event that makes the body so receptive to this?
Exactly. It suggests there's some kind of biological tipping point. And I think understanding that point is the next frontier of this research.
Fascinating stuff. Knowing how and when to apply this knowledge, it just makes all the difference. Thank you for guiding us through the complexities of this massive study.
My pleasure.
We hope this deep dive gave you a fast, thorough understanding of nicotinamide's targeted role in skin cancer prevention. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.